Hello. In this tutorial, I'll be teaching you about reflexive verbs. There are two goals. One, I hope that by the end of the tutorial, you understand what a reflexive verb is, and two, how do you conjugate them. The first thing you'll want to do is make sure you have this document open or printed. You can fill it out on your Chromebook, or if you prefer, you can print it and fill it out by hand, then take a picture of it to submit to your teacher by the end of the week. So I'm going to go ahead and begin the presentation. Los verbos reflexivos, reflexive verbs. The nice thing about reflexive verbs is you've actually been using them for quite a while. So first question, ¿qué es un verbo reflexivo? What is a reflexive verb? A verb is reflexive when the subject and the object are the same. So a quick review. What's the subject of a sentence? The subject is the person or thing doing the action. Examples. We can't meet at school because of the quarantine. So who can't meet? We can't. So because we are doing the action, we are the subject of that sentence. The next example. The water was really cold. What's really cold? The water. So in that sentence, water is the subject of the sentence. What's the object? The object of a sentence is the person or thing that receives the action of the verb. It is the who or what that the subject does something to. Two examples. I bought a new helmet for mountain biking. What did I buy? I bought a helmet. So in that example, helmet is the object of the sentence because it is receiving the action of the verb to buy. She kicked the ball. What did she kick? She kicked the ball. So we know that ball is the object of that sentence because it receives the action of the verb to kick. So now that we understand what the subject and the object are, we can better understand what a reflexive verb is. A verb is reflexive when the subject and the object are the same. A couple of examples. I call myself John. So the subject is I and the object is myself. So I and myself, those words both refer to the same person. So we know that the verb is reflexive. Like it says, since the subject and the object are the same, the verb is reflexive. I wash my hands. Again, the subject is I and the object, my hands. My hands are part of my body. And so these two refer to the same person. And again, since the subject and the object are the same, the verb is reflexive. If you imagine yourself standing in front of a mirror, you do something, the action bounces off the mirror, it reflects back upon you, the person who did the action. And so that means that the verb is reflexive. There is one reflexive verb you have been using since you started studying Spanish, llamarse. You probably remember on the first day of Spanish class, your teacher asked you a question, ¿Cómo te llamas? And you learned to respond with me llamo and then your name. For example, me llamo Gilberto. And since you are the one calling yourself a name, then that means that verb is reflexive because you're the one that's calling and you are the one receiving the action of that verb. When you learned to conjugate regular verbs, you needed to learn a set of pronouns called subject pronouns. And you know these really well. They are in Spanish, yo, tú, usted, ella, él, nosotros or nosotras, vosotros or vosotras, ustedes, ellas, and ellos. To learn to conjugate reflexive verbs, you need to learn a different set of pronouns called reflexive pronouns. Just like subject pronouns, these pronouns go before the verb. And reflexive pronouns are me, and it means myself, te, which means yourself, se can mean yourself, herself, or himself, nos means ourselves, os means yourselves, it's only used in Spain, se means yourselves and themselves. As you can see, they all refer to the self. An example with the verb llamarse, to call oneself. Me llamo, I call myself. Te llamas, you call yourself. Se llama, he or she calls him or herself, or usted se llama would be you call yourself. Nos llamamos, we call ourselves. Os llamáis, you all call yourselves. And se llaman, they call themselves, or again, you all, you plural, call yourselves. So there are 3 steps to conjugating reflexive verbs. The first step is drop the se from the end of the verb. Step 2, conjugate the verb just like you always do. And the third step, Put the correct reflexive pronoun in front of each conjugation. Here's an example. Number 1, drop the se from the end of the verb. So with the verb lavarse, you drop the se and it becomes lavar. Step 2, conjugate the verb just like you always do. So step 1, lavarse became lavar, and now we conjugate lavar. Lavo, lavas, lava, lavamos, lavais, lavan. And step 3, put the correct reflexive pronoun in front of each conjugation. So again, step 1, lavarse became lavar, then we conjugated lavar, and now we put the pronouns in front. Me lavo, te lavas, se lava, nos lavamos, os lavais, and se lavan. The reflexive pronouns are not subject pronouns. Rather, they are a type of pronoun. They are a type of object pronouns. The purpose of reflexive pronouns is to show that the action of the verb remains with the subject. In Spanish, you can choose whether or not you use the subject pronoun. For example, you can say bailo, and that means I dance. Or you could say yo bailo, and that also means I dance. So you have a choice. You can say the yo, but you don't have to. But reflexive verbs are different because you always need to use the reflexive pronoun. For example, if you want to say I call myself Gilberto, you have to say me llamo Gilberto. You must have the me. You could also say yo me llamo Gilberto, but you don't have to use the yo because it's a subject pronoun. So on your sheet, you've got this picture with 14 different pictures in it. And what you're going to do is practice conjugating these. So you're going to pretend that you are the person in the picture. So in this first picture, you're getting out of bed. In the second picture, you're showering. In the third picture, you are brushing your teeth. And what you need to do is conjugate them. So to the bottom of the second page, and I did a few for you. I did number 1, levantarse. So the first thing you would do is get rid of the se. And then the second thing you would conjugate levantar in the yo form. That would be levanto. And then you add in front the correct reflexive pronoun, and you're talking about yourself. So it's in the yo form, which means that you're going to use me levanto. I also did number 6, lavarse la cara, to wash your face. And so again, for lavarse, you get rid of the se on the end of lavarse. So you've got lavar. You conjugate it in the yo form. That would be lavo. It's in the yo form, so you've got to put me in front. Me lavo la cara. I wash my face. And then acostarse, which means to lay down, is a stem changing verb, O to UE. And so first, you get rid of the se, so acostar, conjugate it in the yo form. Acuesto, again, the O changes to UE. And then you put me in front because it's in the yo form. Dormirse is also a stem changing verb, O to UE, and vestirse, to get dressed, is also a stem changing verb, E to I. I hope this tutorial helps. If you have any questions, please reach out to your Spanish teacher.